This Gamelier is in English, somewhere in French. This one's going to be in English, and really happy to have Thorsten here, all the way from Berlin. It's really cool. It's a real treat, because the Gamelier, one of the first events we went to was the AMAZE in Berlin in 2014, I think it was. It was awesome. Yeah. We had a great time. And since then, we've been keeping in touch. So for those who don't know what the Gamelier is, but I think everyone here knows pretty much, we run a bunch of events having to do with independent and experimental video games, especially when it comes to having to do with science, education, technology, that kind of stuff. And let's see, in 2 weeks, so we don't have anything next Monday. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be presenting about new games, which was a movement in the 1960s and 70s in the US, and it's really cool. We're going to play some games. And the week after that, we have something about on the Japanese video game industry. And then after that, we have lots of other stuff that I can't remember. And if you need help, if you want to know, you can go on our Meetup or on Facebook, and you'll find a list of our events. And with that, I'll turn it over to Thorsten.
Thank you. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, it's great to be in Paris, because there is as well this kind of conference, the European Indie Game Days, and Thierry invited me to give a talk. Or I gave a talk. It was in the morning at 12 o'clock about alt games, and it was very inspiring for all this kind of group of people. Probably I don't have to talk about alt games here, right? Everybody knows about. Yeah, so I think this topic is not a topic, it's off topic, but we can discuss this later. I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me. And it's the first time here in the center, and I'm very curious as well. Maybe the next days you can show me around and show what's gonna go here every day. And yeah, I got a very nice present from your kids. That's awesome. Yeah, great. Thank you. And yeah, why I got invited? Alexandre was with me in Johannesburg at the AMAZE Johannesburg Festival this year, and as well in Cluj at the Clujotronic. It was an event made by the Institut Français and by the Germans, by the Goethe Institute, and it's an electronic music audiovisual festival, and they never had this kind of aspect games. And they asked me to do something, and so I made kind of curatorship, made a program together, brought 4 German artists or game designers and 4 French game designers to Cluj, and so it was the first time I really was able to talk to Alexandre. So I had some time, we spent some time, and so he invited me as well, like Jesse, and they said, hey, I mean, we don't want to hear so much about the AMAZE Festival because most of you probably know about the AMAZE Festival already. I'm definitely going to show some videos, but tell a little bit more about yourself. So it's a kind of a biography, what I'm going to try to tell you. So who I am, where I come from, and why I started AMAZE. So let's start. So this is my name. I'm the founder and artistic director of AMAZE. And yeah, who I am. That's where I grew up. That's Oberstdorf. That's in the Alps. It's very beautiful. So it's like a wonderful, safe environment. You can do a lot of sports. You can walk around. I mean, somebody of you like hiking or skiing, or yeah, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. But I moved on to Berlin because I couldn't stand there because the people suck in a way. So, but I always go there for skiing, so I meet some of my school friends. So I also did some ski jumping when I was young. That was my passion. So I was not so much into computer games at this time. I'm born 1972, and so everybody had computers and whatever, C64 and Amigas and stuff like that. I always just went to them and played with them, but I have no relation really. I had never a computer. My first computer I got in '95, so it's pretty late, and I think it started as well with the internet somehow. So it's pretty late that I also just started to think in a digital way, and it took a time. So ski jumping was the thing. I mean, I was totally in sports. I was really kind of keen to be whatever world championship or jump as longest as ever. And when I've met the first time Mari von Rickenbach, he's from Switzerland, probably some of you guys know him, and we were kind of discussing, yeah, let's do some whatever cool ski jumping game. I'm still waiting so that I have time, or he has time, to just create a cool ski jumping game, because all the ski jumping games you can have right now, they really suck. I mean, it's kind of just sports, but I mean, to really have a psychedelic whatever ski jumping game would be very awesome. So, and yeah, I did some music. If you want to listen to this music, I mean, this is how I, in a way, grew up, and just to get into the mood of what I'm doing, right? I mean, it's this was my one-man band. It was called Storno.
Ich kauf mir eine Ratte.
It's German.
Eine schöne weiße Ratte. Sind ihre Augen rot. Ich kauf mir eine Ratte. Eine große, fette Ratte. Ist ihr Anus rot. Ich liebe dich, du Ratte. Du hast mein ganzes Herz. Ich spüre den Gast in mir. Du niedlich und nicht hier. Dein Schwanz ist gar so lang. Deine Zähne süß und gelb. Dich kuscheln macht viel Spaß. Bevor du wirst und fraß. Bis heute teuflisch schöne Bauer. Hier dein Lebenselixier. Lebend Ratten schmecken besser. Denn warmes Blut braucht noch nach dem Tod. Denn warmes Blut braucht noch nach dem Tod.
So I think we're gonna skip this. The snake is dead. No, it's not that. I just gave it away. I had this time. I wanted to have a snake, and I really take care a lot. His name were Miss Hyde, and I also had a kind of a talk show. It was called Du sag mir ehrlich, where I invited people on stage, musicians and artists in Berlin, and we hanging out on couch and we're kind of talking about art and music and what they do and how Berlin kind of influences all the people who are coming to Berlin. Because when I came to Berlin in '99, there was everything kind of changing. It's really kind of this, there was kind of a strange movement. There was, everything was gray and everything was kind of completely new for me. It was, you know, you are in East Berlin and you meet this kind of crazy people who are kind of doing just stuff. And this was this kind of DIY culture, what I really liked. And everything what represents AMAZE is just from this time in a way. Everything was ski jumping and all this stuff what I did before. It's not AMAZE, it's not me anymore. It's really kind of, I came to Berlin, it changed my life completely. Through all the people, everybody I've met, and with all the contacts I made and all this openness, right? I mean, you had a big space, you had a playground, you just can go in a bar, play guitar, do some weird stuff, you can DJ everywhere, and nobody cares, right? I mean, even when you don't have an audience, nobody cares. I don't care as well. So, and it was just amazing. I really loved this time. And I did some kind of events like Du sag mir ehrlich, and I did also the Storno 8-bit sessions. Maybe some guys know them. It's this is This is Dennis Wedin. Maybe some of you guys know Dennis Wedin from Hotline Miami. And I've met him in 2007 when I invited him as a band as Rongfa to the Storno 8-bit sessions in the White Trash in the Diamond Lounge. It was 2007, and I invited as well Capambino, That Politics, and a lot of other French artists like Gang Pulnit, and it was just kind of started into kind of this 8-bit culture what I just tried to create in Berlin, what was not existing. And I mean, Capambino is definitely not 8-bit, but I mean it's this kind of playful, hardcore, electronic music I really wanted to bring to Berlin for the first time. So, and this was one of this thing. What I did was the on 8-bit sessions with a lot of other bands. This is just one.
I just heard.
This is Dennis. Very young.
We don't usually play that many remixes or covers, but I felt like it. So yeah, but I know it's not a common thing.
I always had, yeah.
I think we still have some elements, but we've never actually gone out and said that we were an 8-bit band or something. We're more like have an electro pop, techno electro approach, and then we mix in some influences of those sounds and the whole overall aesthetics. So it's more of a, when we have those elements, they're more of tributes than actually using old hardware or something. Each generation has something that they remember from their childhood or something, and maybe incorporate in art later in life or something. Like this 80s, 70s generation have all those nights sitting by flickering TV screens in the back of their head.
Generations has the same connection to the sound, so I think when our generation is lost, they don't have the exact same feeling because they play. But it could develop in a different way. Then it's just music for them. For us, it is all the games, and you're 6 years old and all that stuff. So
now it's quite a bit of nostalgia to the whole thing. But
this is nostalgia. Already, it's kind of weird.
Think of it as, yeah, that's the sounds the old computers had. Just that's cool sounds.
So I invited a lot of people to an 8-bit session, and it was just a kind of music. There were no games included, nothing at all. It was really kind of listening to the music at this time, and it's very funny that some of these people are now doing something with games. I meet them and they're coming back, and it's 2007 and it feels like it's so long a time ago, and it's kind of crazy. So AMAZE, yes, what is AMAZE doing? AMAZE is running since 2008 events in the field of games beyond mainstream. We are building worldwide communities and bringing the playful, diverse, interdisciplinary games culture alive. And this is what I'm telling always when I speak in front of people in the universities who have no idea about games. So what I said today is, with AMAZE, we are running since 2008 events in the field of games beyond indie. We are building worldwide communities and bringing the playful, diverse, and interdisciplinary games culture alive. So. And I was start talking about alt games and everything what AMAZE is interested in, and what makes this festival also very much alive. How did all this start? So maybe some of these guys, maybe you know people who were at the AMAZE festival already. This is Michael Liebe. Now he's running the International Games Week in Berlin. So it's the umbrella of a lot of different events. So there's also the Quo Vadis, what is the more or less business AAA conference in Berlin, and then the AMAZE Festival is in there. Then there's the Game Fest from the Computerspiele Museum is in there. Then also a lot of other things like matchmaking dinners, and not a big expo, but it's more kind of e-sport is also now involved. And this is at a festival what we did in 2010. So we were pretty young at this time, and we had this idea, just to talk about how we can start about that. Yeah, I've met Michael when I was helping him. No, in a different way. It was Game Face. It was a magazine. So it's not anymore existing. It's a Berlin magazine, and it's on paper, and it was really, really cool because it was more like showing who are the developers, what is happening right now in the industry, and a little bit of culture and a little bit of fashion. And it was a kind of a mixed culture thing, digital culture thing. Michael was the second editor of Chief, or how you say, something like that, and the guy who is running this kind of magazine, he asked me if I want to do an online TV show. So, and I said, yes, that's cool, let's do this. He sent me to San Francisco in 2007 for the first time, to China Choi in Shanghai, and I just met some people who kind of showing games, and I interviewed them. I had no clue at the time really about games, so this is kind of the crazy thing at this time. So I had really no idea. I was not playing games at this time, actually, in 2006 when these guys approached me, and in 2007 I really was, I was just overwhelmed when I just met all these people, and also now I have a control in the hand and can play, and what is going on. And because I just played, the last games I played was in 4, so it was completely changed everything. And then I also got introduced into the independent game culture in 2000, Indie Games Festival, how it's called, Independent Games Festival in San Francisco. So I've met some people, met for the first time Eric Zimmerman and Tim Schafer. I mean, I had no clue who are these people. So I mean, just shake the hand and made some interviews with them. So I had no clue. So and then when we went to Shanghai for the first time to the China Joy, because Michael was always my cameraman. I was the guy in front of the camera, was asking questions and doing weird stuff, and he was the cameraman. And then we were sitting there. It's all bullshit, right? I mean, everything is what we see and what we're talking about. It's bullshit. I mean, it's kind of AAA industry. Who is interested? Kind of. I'm not interested in how make money and how we can whatever make people addictive in some stuff. And I was more or less more interested. Hey, what's going on besides this, beyond all this kind of industry, blah, 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 and product managers and whatever, press people. And then I just discovered that there is already something going on. This was at this time, or just before a few years, it was the game art artists, people who did whatever with old technology, some weird installations, when it was showcased at the Ars Electronica. And as well, I just find, the scene is pretty cool, what is going on right now. So in a way, Messhoff, I also said this at the opening note, 2014. Messhoff was initially the person who brought me in a way to this kind of independent feeling. You know, you can do whatever you want, and you also have the access to galleries. You can show your stuff in the white box. It was kind of connected already to the art scene. Somehow I just put all these kind of puzzle pieces together, and I was thinking, now I create my own world. You know, I create AMAZE, and I was creating with him together AMAZE, what was celebrating games, art, and whatever, music, and whatever was coming next. So so 2008 we did the first event. It was a kickoff event. Nobody showed up in Berlin. It was completely empty. It was a disaster. We invited Dot Politics. They wanted to have 1,000 euro at this time, and nobody showed up. We fucking shit. Yeah, not that I'm paying still, but I mean it took whatever 2 years that I get everything paid. So it was because I'm not rich, right? I mean I'm just trying to also live my stuff and survive. And it was the start in 2008, and we also did some kind of small events. You look at this flyer, man. This is kind of crazy. So it was the first jump and run party. It wasn't a bar. So music and games, and we connected the media artists from Berlin or whatever web artists with the game designers. So there is the Cowboyano, fantastic game. You have to play this game. Cowboyano is very bad quality. But now stuff gets together, right? I had the music and the games, and it's just kind of And we made, every month we made a party in a bar, and whatever, 50 people showed up. Then we started to make some presentations where people come and just showed their game, and we're talking about the games. And at this time there was nothing in Germany. There was completely nothing. Nobody was kind of doing something like that. It's a very short. Yeah. At the Kimbar. Kimbar is still there. Whenever you're in Berlin, you go to Brunnstraße. Kimbar is a very good bar. Yeah. It's also nice for me to see all this stuff. Thank you for giving me this. And I mean, meanwhile, because I couldn't make any money, nothing. It was just like I'm doing it, and I was working as a bartender. I was working in the white trash bar behind the bar from 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning. So this was my income. And but every year when there was the Ars Electronica, everybody knows the Ars Electronica, this electronic media or digital media art festival with and I went there and made some videos, and was speaking with the big artists who win whatever the Golden Nika about games. So, and this now is an interview with Eduardo Katz. So maybe I can. It's self-explaining.
I'm Eduardo Katz. I'm based in Chicago, and I'm an artist. The artwork is entitled Natural History of the Enigma, and it is an artwork that has as its center a new life form that I created, a plantimal, a plant that is partially an animal, and this plant is a hybrid of myself and Petunia from Eduardo, and combined with Petunia I created an Edunia, is the name that I give to this flower. What's unique about this flower is that I have taken DNA from my own blood and I have expressed that DNA in the red veins of the flower. The flower has accepted my own DNA as one of its own. It produces my own human protein in its red veins and in the red veins only. And as we know very well, flowers do not make human proteins in the world at large. This one does. This one is partially human, partially flower, therefore plantimal. Well, computer games are digital. It's possible to connect a digital computer game with physical objects, of course. And artists explored these ideas very early on, and now we see that in the world of the industrial computer game. And some artists have even created a paint station that you play and you get hurt instead of the PlayStation. Now, the idea of creating a bio game, a biological game, in which there is a level of interaction or perhaps even competition within the realm of the living, is a very complex and very difficult idea. Because normally when you write a program for a computer game, you are the master and the controller of the program you write. The level of interactivity that viewers will have, all of them are basically already programmed by you. If somebody wants to do something that is not there, that you didn't put there, they're going to have to hack your program. With biology, you are creating life, and life is independent of you. The living organism has its own needs, and if it has consciousness, its own desires, independent of you. So if you were to exert the same level of control over a living organism that you exert over a piece of software, you would be converting the subject into an object. And as an artist, I would never do that. So if you were to create a game that is biological, you'd have to be done in a way that the living organisms themselves enjoy the game and benefit from the game. They don't suffer, and it's playful and interesting for the life forms themselves. In that case, could be very interesting. Well, computer games are a cultural.
You want to see it more?
Society at large. They can convey political messages, they can convey philosophical messages. It really depends on what the video gamer or the computer gamer, the designer, wants to do. Obviously, most of what the industry does is banal, as is the case with most films are banal, etc. But the banality is not in the format of the game itself. The banality is in the design and the use, because we know most of it is primarily for sale purposes. But the video game form is a form in its own right, and it can be used for any purpose, artistic or otherwise. For my next work, I invite you and our viewers to my exhibition in Poitiers, in France, opening October 8th, where you're going to see a brand new transgenic artwork. But you have to come to the show to see that. So what's your first question?
So, I mean, I just went there every year, just meeting kind of crazy minds and just confront them with the idea of what is for you a game and how can you, whatever, involve your work into games. And this is as well something what AMAZE is kind of trying now to do, is kind of inviting other people from other disciplines. It's not just a game event, there is also an event from other directions coming, whatever, let's say from science, we were talking about that, because I think that when you do a video game about a special topic, you definitely have to go to a person who knows about it, and you just not can read in Wikipedia this is working like that. You just have to make research, right? This is something what everybody wants to see, that people are investing time, that is kind of a development, not in the kind of in game design and whatever technology. It's kind of, if you want to go into a special topic, you have to know exactly what you're talking about in the game. And I want to do something more about that into science, that people don't have fear to just approach people. If they have a problem, let's go to ESA and ask the people how it's going to happen in space. So what is whatever the physics there, and or whatever, when it's biology, you go to a biology professor and ask him what is the thing, and just to really use the data what is there. And yeah, and then in 2010 we started to do the next step. So we did in 2009 a small festival. It was called the AMAZE First Step Festival. So we're still in 2009, so we have a few years now to go. But now in 2010 we decided to make a festival together with the Club Transmediale and the Transmediale Festival. It was about music. So the Club Transmediale is a music festival in Berlin, was always connected to the Transmediale Festival. It's also a media art festival. And the topic was games, celebrating the conversion of games, art and music. So we had a games exhibition of the history of music games, and some interactive music installations, and cool talks and workshops. So that was the beginning of, in a way, how AMAZE kind of looking like. But it was much more broader. It was also into Arduino using open.
Was mir beim Panel sehr gut gefallen hat, war, dass die Backgrounds doch so unterschiedlich waren, eben von einem berühmten Musikspielhersteller.
Some is in German and some is in English.
Hin zu den ärgsten Theoretikern von Partikelsystemen und Millicent-Musik, grafischen Notationssystemen.
Ich hatte mich so gefragt, wie geht das zusammen? Also wie macht dieses Festival, wie macht dieses Symposium Sinn? wenn so viele unterschiedliche Leute so ganz verschiedene Facetten in ihren Vorträgen jeweils beleuchten.
Also das war wirklich faszinierend.
Und das ging doch überraschend gut.
Ich glaube, das ist tatsächlich jetzt paradigmatisch eigentlich momentan für so einen Wandel, der stattfindet, weil über Spiele weiß man eigentlich noch gar nicht so viel. Das Fabrik oder das Überlegen, was sind eigentlich Spiele, was können Spiele leisten, was machen sie mit uns als Menschen, die Gedanken darüber, die sind noch relativ am Anfang.
That's what we also want to show with the AMAZE Festival, to show how games and different types of culture and different types of media mix and how this mixture actually is the productivity.
When you're with a group of intelligent people that are all thinking about the same thing, yeah, that's always inspiring.
Because you don't really that often get to interact with people doing research or students doing interesting things, and that's really important.
We tend to forget that some of the most influential games of all time, in fact, arguably the most influential games of all time, were made on a very, very small budget. They were made in bedrooms.
It's about using this stuff, it's about modifying it, it's about doing your own stuff, doing your own performance. That's what gaming actually is a lot about. Playfulness is about that, and AMAZE Festival, AMAZE Interactive is about all these different parts of contemporary culture and arts.
So that was the first bigger festival where we also approached a bigger audience. So the first one was whatever, we were connected to a design festival, so we had whatever, let's say 200 people passing by, playing the games and installations. But this one was really kind of thousands of people went there. Because I mean, we had this big festival and we were in the program and it was very, very good. So, and there was one DJ for Glenn van Loggenberg. He is from South Africa. So it was the first connection to South Africa. So he saw all the exhibition and he went to the talks and to the workshops and everything. And he told me, hey, give me all the video footage. And I do some videos because I have a TV production company in South Africa. So, and I have a show, it's called The Verge. So, hey, of course, I give you all the content, whatever you want, and do whatever you want. So I got featured 3 times at with the AMAZE Festival there, and it was also the break where Michael Liebe was because we shared a co-curator, director, whatever. We were in one person, but we were 2, and he just skipped it and he said, no, and now I have to earn money. I can't do this. I don't want to do it anymore. And he moved on to do a kind of a funding job. He went now then to Medienbord Berlin-Brandenburg, what is a funding institution where it's film funding and also game funding and web content. But it was also very good because I could do my freaky stuff and I had somebody who gives me money, right? I mean, it was an awesome relationship. So and we just built it out, and it's still like that. So he's helping me sometimes with the money because I mean, it's not anymore so hard for me to sell AMAZE because I mean, it's good and there is a lot of people coming and people talking about AMAZE, and also the industry is also kind of, yeah, it's interesting, and we're always going there. We sneak in and we're not going there in a suit. We're going there with normal casual clothes, and we're having good time and dancing and stage diving and whatever. So that's cool. So, and this is what always the approach was. I don't want to make a kind of a business conference. It's not me. It's completely not me. And yeah, this guy Glenn van Loggenberg, the DJ, the TV producer, brought it out to South Africa, and I had a crush on the moderator, Pipa Chabalala, at this time somehow, and was very. But I just found out later she had a kind of a long-term relationship, whatever. But I mean, we were on Skype and we're talking, blah blah blah, and what's going on, games community in South Africa. Is there something going on? I was checking internet, not much. There is something, but there is not a huge community. There are just a few studios doing stuff, and then she said, yeah, I mean, I can connect you with the Wits University, or I can connect you as well with other people, and just come. So, and then 2011, I booked a flight, went down, did some presentation in some schools and universities about the AMAZE Festival, as well at the Goethe Institute at this time, and they were kind of, wow. that's awesome. We want to have this. And then I got some money, and I just went there 2012 for 3 months. It was because I got the apartment from the director from the Goethe Institute. It was an empty apartment because nobody really wants to live in the city and in the Anstis building. And I just went there, 150 square meters, just wow, round view, 14th floor. It was fantastic. Me alone in the winter in South Africa, no heating. It was really very cool. It was cold, but I mean, it's I just met a lot of people, and it was kind of everything from scratch. I did everything from scratch there in South Africa. Just meet people, talking to people, invite people. It was not an indie games festival or independent games festival. It's more like a games festival and playful media festival. So I also invited people who are doing kind of crazy shit. Whatever they do in South Africa or in Africa, I just invited them to be part of it. And so it was a kind of an open whatever media art festival, and we did a lot of stuff in the streets. Also street games were involved, and urban games. We have, of course, we had a big arcade. We had some interactive installations there, and it was a very, very good start. I can show you a video of that.
Hey everybody, Joburg, people, artists. Welcome to the first International AMAZE Interact Festival in Johannesburg. 3, 2, 1. What?
It's meeting people, it's creating a community and creating same interest, acting.
I was very done.
Enjoying himself. Hopefully for next year we get some more other people from the country coming here, and the activity really can reach people and you can give access to people, and you create space of creativity and collaboration, and this is something what is AMAZE about. People are interested in this, people are talking about it.
That's people.
Because I think it's not about just making money. It should be more about talking about creation.
Yeah, that was the first AMAZE Johannesburg festival, and it was just an amazing experience for the people I brought there, and as well for me. And I think it's completely changed my life, how I see Africa. And I mean, it's just I saw a little bit Johannesburg, but a lot of people came there as well from other countries, and it's kind of I just love it. I just love it to be in Africa. It feels good. It feels good to be in South Africa, work with the people there, and also see how this kind of how this kind of movement is kind of developing. I mean, when I started the AMAZE Festival there, the independent scene was kind of 50 people or something like that. It was kind of coming from whatever, everywhere. And I mean, the distance are different. It's very, very far to come from Cape Town to Johannesburg. It's at least 24 hours with a train, and. But everybody's coming now, and it's kind of really cool. So that nowadays it's kind of accepted, it's kind of established, and then suddenly there are now 2015 there were 200 people running around. So I mean, it's not just the AMAZE festival, but it's just like there's a platform. There's something what is going on regularly, and this is this kind of thing what I like. This kind of doing something what is sustainable. What kind of is something what is always there, and kind of where the people can meet, and where the people also. But not everybody has the money to go whatever to GDC or to go to Europe and meet you, and so they're very, very much. They need this kind of festival where people from Europe or from somewhere else just going there and hanging out with the people, talking with them. And I'm very happy that this year the city of Johannesburg gave us the first time money to really go forward. It's not anymore, it's not funded by European Union or whatever, it's now city money, and this is very good. It's also a good sign. So they like it. They see as well the development is very rich for them and can enrich as well youth. And so we went this year to Soweto and Alexandra, which are the townships in around Johannesburg, and did some workshops. We wanted to approach 16-year-olds, between 16 and 25-year-old kids, but nobody showed up really. So I mean, we had then 155-year-old till 8 kids, and we were completely not prepared for something like that, because I mean, you have definitely to teach them differently, or you don't teach them, whatever. So we put everything on the table, and we just started tinkering around with them. So I mean, with their own, they draw, they do this, but we wanted to make a kind of production line. Really, everything was very sophisticated planned. So I mean, we have everything what you have a station in games. There is an expert. So you go to the expert and you learn how it's going. You're not starting coding or whatever. It's just like you sit beside him, you tell him what you want to see, and he's doing it for you. So he's your machine, he's your computer somehow. And but it was not working like that. So the kids were playing around and screaming around, and yeah, but that was also a very good experience for us. I mean, we can't go just there and put something on there and hope that people say, yeah, that's cool. I mean, who cares? Games, right? I mean, girls, whatever, or party. I mean, it's weekend. We don't want to get taught in making games. It's not a necessity. So, and this is something what we've learned for the next year, that we definitely have as well to make step by step. Every month, people from the Wits University should go in the townships and go there regularly, make some whatever meetups, meet the people, try to teach people there, also to organize their own events and just get them interested into this kind of let's say, I mean, it's a perspective. I mean, it's something like that. You can do it. I mean, it's something what I try to teach them and try to give them. You just can start from scratch. You don't need school. You can whatever. You just need internet access, and most of the people have, in a way, internet access, even when airtime is very expensive. But you can go there, and you can meet the community somewhere, and you just have to know that there is something existing. So I mean, even when everything is it's long distance. I mean, you don't go out of the townships and go just to to a Microsoft center where the next independent game, whatever community meetup is. So I mean, there's also a lot of problems, because I mean, it's not an open door for everybody. And as a black person, you're definitely in South Africa still you're blocked out from some kind of facilities, and it's not so easy to get in. And I'm just super happy that we're kind of reflecting on what we are doing, and we're getting better. And this is something what is very important, that we are as organizers and curators of something, and we want to get in contact and want to inspire people to go the same way, or just to see, hey, this is something, a field what could be interesting for you. I mean, it would be so cool to have games next year, in the next 2 years, or let's say in 5 years from Soweto, because the people have a completely different mindset. I mean, it's not like the mindset what the middle class boy from Cape Town has. I mean, it's they completely bring other aspects into games than a person, a kid or a girl, a man or a girl from Soweto. And this is something what interests me, this kind of cultural difference. I mean, I want to see games where you see where they come from. This would be very, very cool. It's kind of the next step where I want to go there. So. Do you want to see a video? Yes. This is the video about the AMAZE Berlin Festival 2015. These are the other awards, if somebody don't know. So there's a difference between all the other stuff what we did before. I mean, it's definitely, it's growing, and I think I like to see it growing, because I mean, it's important that everything what AMAZE is about the people who are doing the games. It's not because it's my fault, you know. I mean, it would be the ideal word, because I mean, it's about the guys who are doing it. I mean, otherwise it's not working. And I mean, this kind of progress what is going right now on in the whole independent scene, or in the art world, because I mean, also artists coming as well closer to you guys and say, hey, I start doing games now, because I mean, everything is very accessible and I can do it by myself as well. I can teach myself. Maybe I'm already a coder and I just use now a Unity game engine and do something weird as well. And this is something what I really, really like. This way of thinking that we are not just one little community. So it's really a big community, and this community is international, and this is something what I definitely want to show with the AMAZE Festival. And this was also the thing when I came here with the airplane. I was thinking, fuck, I mean, AMAZE Festival is not international, it's a fucking Western festival, you know? I mean, I just know what's going on in Europe, I know what's going on in the States, that's it. So, but I don't know what's really going on in South America. Okay, now I know what's going on in Africa, but what is going on in Taiwan, what's going on in China, what is going on everywhere in the world, you know? I just know a little of what is going on. And I'm very, very interested to bring all these people together, so it's automatically it's growing, the festival, because I want to see them all there at the AMAZE Festival, and they should share and come together, because I want to, this is something what I don't see at the moment in games industry, not really. that you see it as a cultural festival. Of course, you're celebrating games, and it's fantastic, but it's not this kind of cultural exchange what you have at film festivals somehow, you know. And this is something what I'm trying now to develop for the future. Maybe it takes 5 years or 10 years, but I mean, this is something what I'm really approaching for the next. This is kind of my goal. This kind of I don't know. I think it's important to invite more people to the whole culture or to the whole game thing, and I want to know exactly what is going on somewhere else. And I mean, when you talk to Rami, he's traveling around the world. I think he's everywhere, but he's also saying, I mean, you don't have them on display. And this is something what I'm coming later, and I just want to check and wanted to ask you, because I want to have an open discussion, because how we make stuff, what is really kind of unique, and everything is in a way unique, but how you really can make it happen that people find stuff. I mean, I'm in the kind of the scene. You are in the scene as well. You have friends who are whatever recommending stuff, but what is with the other people? With the other millions of people who are gamers and probably just know about the mainstream, and even then they just know about the indie games, who wants to be mainstream, who wants to be AAA, and but they don't know about this kind of artistic, unique, experimental scene. And I'm really looking for that, and even more. Even when I know that they are really kind of existing, and they are on itch, you can find everywhere this kind of stuff, and but nobody knows. Nobody really knows. Nobody cares in a way, and this is something we are caring, but I mean, there should more people care about that. And for me, it's a tragedy when a prize winner like Curtain, I mean, not a lot of people will play the game. So, because I mean, there is no visibility for that game. And I was thinking of how we can make this happen, that these kind of games has a platform. I mean, they are an itch. And but how can we make this kind of thing like with a record label? I don't know. It's probably an old school structure, but I'm thinking as well, like, yeah, let's make more labels, crazy labels. I mean, collectives are already kind of a cool stuff, and Klondike is fantastic. It's yeah, and Copenhagen Game Collective and everything what is around the world. And I think there are much more game collectives starting, like in Berlin, Saftladen now, and. But I think we need more people who are more idealistic, like in the punk scene, right? That you really kind of, we make a label now, whatever. We have 1 band or 2 bands. Let's bring them out. Let's show them everywhere. Let's go to a music festival. Let's play those games, right? I mean, it's because I mean this is the time right now. We have to do something like that, because I think the people would play something like what you guys doing or what the people are doing. You see it at the AMAZE festival. I think 50% of the people who are attending the AMAZE festival, not the conference, they are definitely no gamers. They usually don't play games, or they will not say that they are gamers. Never. So, but they go there because they think it's cool. It's cool shit. It's fucking cool. I mean, a line wobbler, what the fuck is that? Right? But it's awesome. There's a fucking hipster playing line wobbler. He loves it. And this is cool. I mean, this is something what I want to see. I want to see that more. And then you can kind of create this kind of market, I think, in the future. That people are kind of, yeah, Curtain, man, this is intense, right? Abusive relationship, I want to go through that. So, no, it's, yeah. And hopefully the market is changing. Yeah, I mean, this is what AMAZE is standing for. I mean, it's I see that the medium it's a medium for expression. It's the people who are doing stuff for AMAZE or at AMAZE, they generate a kind of a new taste. It's very unique, it's genius. You can see and you can feel it's passionate. There's really a lot of heart in there. It's not just you make a product, it's really something, I want to do this, I want to go through that, I do this. And it's very forward thinking. And I love it. That's more and more human stories getting into games. And I was talking just with Mathieu Muller from Unity, this field engineer. Probably some of you guys know him. And he also thinks that more and more stories need to get into games, kind of as well. Like I was thinking with him about, let's take a poem. Let's take whatever, a short game, a short story, and let's make a game out of it. So why not approaching really a band? So let's approach whatever, a fucked up band nobody knows, and just let's make a music game. So, but really nobody, I mean, yeah, I see it, there are some stuff happening like that, but I mean, it could be the thing. When more and more people are doing it, more and more people will know about it. This is the thing. I mean, music video takes also time, right? So to be the thing through MTV and whatever, maybe there needs a kind of a platform where we have just music games out there. And I think what is definitely missing in the games in our society is the subculture, games subculture. I mean, we are somehow the people who are doing it, but I mean the subculture I think is the people who are playing the stuff, who are finding a kind of an identity and can identify themselves into this kind of thing of games and games culture and weirdness and digital culture, and I think this is something what is missing right now. Yeah. But I mean, it's an open question. What do you think? Is there a subculture existing in games?
I don't know music as well as games. I haven't been part of like any like music any like film festival scene things. I don't know how it works in other creative like medias. Is it so different? I mean, is there so much more in music?
I mean, definitely you see through the different genres, you see people dressing differently. I mean, music is probably not the best example, but I mean, from the structure, how you really kind of making something into whatever a hype or something, I think it's pretty good to work out. I mean, with film as well. I mean, it's not everybody looks art house movies. I mean, definitely, but I mean, it's just like, but I mean, I think through the interactivity what you have in games, you can communicate differently than with a movie. Especially when we are talking about local multiplayer games, or when we talk about alternative controller games. I mean, especially when more people playing together.
Another thing about indie music in France, we have the music day, and I think that's where people who are not interested generally in indie music will run onto those kind of groups of bands without having the intention to go to see them.
Mm.
They will meet them the most like randomness, and it would be cool to have this kind of game festival into the streets, so that people don't go to the festival, they just go in the streets as they do every day, and they run into those games and play something.
Fête de la musique, something like that.
It's everywhere in the streets, so you can't really escape from it. It's
yeah.
Also, escape playing music, indie music and indie games, especially alternative controllers and that kind of stuff. That indie music will always have a better representation in the media. You have stuff like Pitchfork or whatever that will do a lot of exposure for those small artists, even if they're just two-bedroom producers. Whereas in video games, traditional video game media will rarely talk about stuff like Curtain or Line Over, because it's like indie music is interesting because it's going from the indie to the mainstream a lot. There's a lot of exchanges between the two, but for video games you don't see stuff like I said, Curtain expanding to more mainstream representation of games. So whereas like you have tons of story of small indie bands that became massive bands now. It's different.
But I mean, even when you, I mean, but nobody has a problem, right, to be successful, right? And even when you as whatever, let's say Robert Young with his spanking thing, right? I mean, it's gonna be a fucking hit, and everybody's playing that, right? I mean, it would be great. It would be great just to see everybody's playing that game and enjoy to play it. So and then I mean and then suddenly it's mainstream, of course, but then it's lifting up everything. So and it's getting more visibility for everybody. I mean, nobody has to starve, right? And to everybody who is doing stuff, games or whatever art, should be in a way successful with the stuff what he's doing.
There's guaranteed minimum wage for everyone. Let's do it. Political movement.
Yeah.
Occupy wherever.
Also, like, it's an interesting thing what you say because when I compare to music, and like a lot of times it's not even from media or from festivals or whatever. Sometimes you just be like a very well-known, respected artist that can say, I love those guys, I love their music, and nobody knows them, but I just love them, and that's always going to bring out, there's like a lot of support coming from more successful people to get smaller stuff out there. Whereas in games, I don't think I was so, like, there's also less offers in video games, of course, and especially in AAA and whatever, but yeah, we don't really see like,
You think the person behind the games is missing. So I mean, this kind of identification of somebody who could be a star, an idol or something like that. This is missing?
not necessarily in terms of success, but just in terms of recognition. Like, you know that, like, I don't know, but you always recognize a director or a band or an artist for what they mean, what is the message they try to put out in their work. In games, you have two sides of this. Of course, you have the indies where you know that a game from Nina Freeman will be probably about like this person, a specific type of subject. A game from Robert Yang, same thing. But like coming from the other more mainstream and recognized in the more general public, there's only a few exceptions. There's Hideo Kojima, and it's still like sort of like the proof that now that it's actually not what the industry wants. I don't think the mainstream industry wants ownerships in video games, and I think it's early in video games to kind of get this exchange between more recognized stuff and more obscure stuff to get this exchange going up and help smaller creators to get to better recognition.
Why should that be though? Why should it be different? Like, let's say we note that this is the case. Why is it because music is more established? Yeah. So is it just a case of time and generations passing and games just becoming more?
Yeah, I think like music was a culture before becoming an industry, but the game like they jumped to the industry part, and now they are becoming culture. It's like the inverted process. That's why we have a fucking big game industry, and the culture is struggling to grow.
Yeah, and compared to cinema, in cinema, when cinema became legit, it was because some artists outside of movie realm said cinema is really cool, like Salvador Dali or people like this. And in video game, we have no one. I mean, we don't have Jean-Luc Godard to say, whoa, video games are cool.
But is it not like that we definitely need kind of small labels kind of to push this kind of awareness?
I don't think
I always think that we.
I think it's a good thing to have more like label structure, curation.
Curation is missing because I mean, I'm also very lost when I don't have recommendations. I'm also lost on Steam. When I go to Xbox, I'm completely lost to find I mean, when you know the title, of course, but I mean, just to scroll through and what should I take?
We need to get outside of the screen because sometimes the screen can be frightening for some people. So yeah, I think we really need creation and festival and organized meeting between people and people inside video games and outside video games.
Well, I think also it's a matter of public and community. It's just that I have friends, two friends who created Take the Blows, which is a musical and video game fanzine, most of, webzine. And they're trying to create small events like concerts, but you can play video games there. And most of the time, people come. I mean, there was a fantastic event. The Gamelier was there, and but the concert people came for the concert, and the video game people came for the video games. And I saw that also where I worked in the Gamelier, which is near there. And I worked in the video game space, which is 4 years old. And most of the time people who come at the video game space do not do anything else at the Gamelier, which is a concert venue. And the people going to the concerts go to the concerts, the people going to the exhibitions go to the exhibitions. There is a problem of inter-communities. People do not even try to say I love video games, but I also love music, I also love everything. People do it, but within the video game community. I mean, I love AMAZE. I really love AMAZE, and I would go there for concerts, I would go there for parties. But in Paris, for example, I think there's a really huge lack of events. We need organizers, we need people outside from the video game community creating events, I think, that people who know their job and do it.
Yeah. I mean, like Wild Rumpus. I mean, yes. they definitely from the scene and from the community.
Yes, I think that we need that because we need that kind of expertise.
It's very close from the I forgot his name, but the editor-in-chief from Polygon, who told when he was recruiting new writers for his sites that he was avoiding people that say I'm 100% gamer because that's
we need new insights in video games. I think that comes from outside, as you said, but we need new insights to create more games, more things that maybe are not games. At events that are not only about games.
But that's also a good thing if it's something that some people try to do, but it's still not big. If like record labels or like people from cinema or contemporary art just contact game designers and say what you do is cool and we want to collaborate with you. I mean, you can now see more of the interactive music videos sort of stuff, but it would be so great if a big record label would say, okay, we're going to curate some games, we're going to ask creators to make games that are linked to what we do, and then that could also bring a new audience to games.
But it's not the other way around. I mean, you guys have to go to them. You have to say to them, hey, I like your band, I want to do a video. So this is how it works. I mean, this is how music videos are just happening. Because I mean, I want to do my first music video, and you have a whatever. I have no money, you don't have money, but let's just do it. So, and of course you don't go to whatever big band and say, hey.
I think that one of the people here who haven't studied in a video game school. I never studied video games. I've never done anything like that. I'm totally outside the industry unless that I'm trying to work in the industry, I'm trying to work in communication and marketing, and as you said, we need people to market and to communicate on these events and have new insights, and it's really hard to get people interested, for example, in academia. Outside from the effects of video games, there are not much interest in that.
Yeah. Yes. And there are a lot of studies on video games, on gameplay, on design, on the effects, but not just on the effects, maybe on how to do them, how to bring them to people, how to make them more accessible. I think it's something we should bring, it's quite recent, but that's something in academia nowadays.
But what are I know that it's growing and it's great, but most of the time people are writing books or articles that stay inside the academia ecosystem. And even me, that I graduate in English, I'm still at university, so I know what professors are and researchers can be, since I have my insight. But it's still the vocabulary used is not very vulgarized, and articles do not go really out there. They don't go out there.
For me, the problem with video games on the academia is in the other direction. I'm not in video games, my background is more technical. And when in the field that I studied, there were articles made by laboratories, by professors, but there were also articles made by people nobody knew. They just said, oh, I'm going to make a company about this thing, I'm going to sell this product, let's try, let's engineer this. This is cool, I think we can make a publication, send this, there's a paper, and this is a paper which comes from almost nowhere, but the video game, it's the exact opposite. There are a lot of companies doing a lot of things, there are a lot of technologies which are made, but there is no documentation at all. There's nothing in the other direction. So then,
yes, but it's only now I think that the industry is becoming more and more interested in academia. Now you can work in the video game industry without coming out from a video game school. That's what I mean. So at the same time, sorry, what?
I must remember in the beginning there weren't video game schools. Video game schools are extremely new.
Some aren't. Some I think new. Over 10 years old, it's hard, but I think some are 15 years at most. But 15 years old, it's like 15 promotions.
Yeah.
So that's becoming huge.
That does mean that you've still got a majority of people working in games, I would think, who haven't been through a specialized game school.
Yeah, but that's important for the recruitment, because I spoke to many people who said that they are still open for self-made people in the industry, and I think that's important for our industry, that that they are very interested in people that have diverse backgrounds, and we have that chance. And now there is an interest in academia that is growing and important. And what I wanted to say about academia is that it's really about the vocabulary and publications that are just running inside the academia only. And it's hard to get them out, but we should do it.
The opposite is more. I mean, I'm doing my state of the art, so I'm reading a lot of articles about video games, and they're not that difficult to understand. I don't have a video game background, so I mean, maybe it's quite easy to understand, but what I think really lacks is that major companies like EA Games, Ubisoft, they never published anything. You can find articles by Disney, but you can't find anything coming from Ubisoft or something like that.
You can find the books from Ubisoft and Ubisoft.
Yeah, but it's not a peer-reviewed article.
It isn't a written tradition, it's an oral tradition. You have to understand this. I went to, I think it was like Serious Games Development and Applications 2009, which was a conference in Norway. And the keynote was by a guy called Simon. I He's a fascinating guy who worked in the industry for a while and transitioned into academia. And he gave this keynote basically saying academics, game developers, and the differences and why there's no crosstalk whatsoever, and what the issue with that is, because you have academics who are really good at writing papers and really good at applying for grants, really terrible at making games, and you have game developers who know how to make games, don't know how to write anything really, don't know how to apply for funding, as in public funding. And there really needs to be communication. And the trouble is principally that game development is an oral tradition. People discuss things over a beer and a piece of pizza. You know, it's not like, let's write an article. Academia is a conversation where the primary artifact that assists communication is a peer-reviewed article. Video games, it's a piece of pizza or a beer. You know, it's just these conversations have a different communication protocol. And you're saying these people don't communicate, they're not using my communication protocol. It's just, it's a different communication protocol.
Yeah, it's different, but we can do it together.
Like eating pizza. Or,
No, hopefully it's not just a pizza.
Yeah, it's just not pizza.
So I think the problem is, well, a lot of journalists have. I mean, definitely. I mean, there are good journalists out there, but I think no, you don't think so? What's your name? Yeah, but I mean, of course you have good writers. I mean, Chris Priestman is fantastic. Most of the writers from Killscreen are fantastic. Polygon, I don't read so often Polygon. So
it's a good site for like features. They have some interesting stories, but the rest there's still this problem that a lot of video games magazines are just, we're gonna make reviews and news like, here's the new games that you're gonna release and are they good or not, which.
But what can we learn from maybe music magazines or something like that? I mean, you also have these reviews of an LP. I mean, it's just like this, and it's okay, but actually probably you don't buy it because you have this review, probably because somebody told you, hey, you have to have this record or something like that.
Like, when you have a feature in the video game magazine, it's going to be, oh, we wanted to do this and this and this, and it's never a personal story. And it's like if you have a feature in a music magazine, interview is often you can say, what inspired you to do?
Right, I mean, this is about interviews, right? I mean, it's something like, because the author gets to the foreground, so you suddenly there is a person. And most of the people, of course, they know that they are not automatically made all these games, but I mean, most of the time the developer or the game designer is not visible. So, I mean, of course, there's always a team behind standing, and probably nobody wants to be this person who is the spokesman or something like that. But maybe it should be something like that. That people say, hey, I'm the superstar, I did this cool games and whatever, but maybe it's not like that. Maybe it's just not the community like that and not the scene. But I think this is something what I think it's, in a way, it's lacking. So you need people who are talking about it as well, you know.
It's like in music.
Just
You need a network. You need journalists. You need people in the field who
yeah.
going to do some small events on bars, some big events on.
I'm not talking about scandals or something like that. Nobody needs to have scandals.
Yeah, no, it's all about the networks.
Yeah.
And, you need to do the connection. And what we're missing right now in Paris, for example. We need to do the connection between artists, and between the news, and between journalists, and it's taken a long time to do that.
I think they also have to find a language, right? I mean, to really kind of talk about games. And also to reflect on games, and also kind of, if you make a critics on a game, then it has to be a little bit deeper. And not just scratching the surface.
It's also fun due to the fact that game journalism or games writing for 15 years was all about review, the news, and just the facts. And only now we start to get people who write about human nature stories, about artistic vision in the game. So it's still something that needs to come out in a bigger way. like in the US and in the UK and in many places you can find a lot of people who do this. Get new sites like Offroad, Fullscreen that are doing this pretty well. But then, for example, in France, there's like a few people doing this, but it's not like that big, and it's hard for French creators. For example, to make very personal games, or you need to talk about not just here's the features of the game, but also here's what I wanted to tell of this game. They won't find a lot of journalists that think would be very interested in this, and also they want smaller reach with their publications. It's hard.
But if I'm not a game designer, right? I mean, but if I would be a game designer, probably I would reach out. Let's say, because we were talking just an hour ago, because I would definitely want to have Salut c'est cool at the AMAZE festival next year. So and just to
leave a message.
Hey, Salut c'est cool. Huh? and just to go to them, and I would go to them and say, hey, let's make together a video game. You're super fucking crazy. A lot of people loves you. I'm a fucking amazing game designer. I know everything about how to make games. Let's do something together. They are spreading it out in their community, and this is kind of generating not this kind of one way we are targeting gamers. It's targeting these people who are usually love the webisodes and also the music of Salut c'est cool. So, and why not going like that direction? So just to make connections and not just being always alone in your game world.
It's the same thing in music.
Yeah.
Musicians doing new bands because they start, you know.
Yeah, also, I mean, yeah, right. Yeah, they're featuring each other, right? They make this feature, whatever. Puff Daddy and whatever. Yeah. You're all turbo prima. Yeah. Yeah, this is something what I also want to talk about. I mean, if I would do, I started already something like that, but I have no structure at all. So, but I mean, this would be something what I think it's because I can't do an AMAZE label, but I was thinking maybe to do something like 26 Palms, and it's a label for weird short games. And I mean, I don't have the power like Devolver and whatever, so I can't do something like that. But I mean, definitely to find, even when they're fucking dirty and not polished games, just like, yeah, let's bring it out and just publish it, bring it, show it somewhere, and bring it as well to what I think go to music festivals, just display it there, and go another way, not go to game festival anymore. Or not to these kind of game festivals where everybody should go or needs to go. Because I think to approach, especially when you have a game, why not going to whatever the next music festival around the corner and say, hey, place the game there. I don't know. Are you doing this? Amel, did you do this?
Yeah, we are doing a little festival with my friend here.
Yeah.
And so about game and music and children.
Okay. But Amel, did you ever went to a music festival and displayed your game? I mean, some people are doing something like that.
Well, we have showcased game in like a lot of festivals, but most of them we were on place, because it was on the country, and they didn't have enough money to pay us a place.
But it were game festivals, right? It was not a music festival. Okay. Mm.
The showcase in university, it wasn't so small, it was like a big tent, it was like really cool, like, I don't remember the name, it was in the US.
Mm.
I think we need to connect with everything. Music festival, film festival, or comics festival.
We need to have more South by Southwest type events in the world, but the problem with those events is that for example, South by Southwest is too big, too crazy, too weird. There's corporate influence getting in, and kind of events. I think that I'm not saying we're a music festival or we're a cinema festival or we're a games festival. And that say we are a festival and make no difference between concerts, projections of films and video and arts and games. We need those festivals to happen more.
Maybe also creators that are going for like a ballsy move and to go to a place where usually people would say what you do is crap or it's not art or it's not whatever you want to do, you know, and go there and impose what you did and show to people, yes, I do that, and you need to see it and you need to have another point of view because you're talking about it but you never experienced it. Not really, you know. And we need creators that have this will to go and say fuck you and try this, you know.
Not the creator as well. It's the people who organize the events.
Yeah.
Who have to bring all the.
But at some point you need to check
the environment to put the artist in good condition.
It's true, but you need to check also the mind of people who are still a bit, you know.
That's something also I think most music bands and maybe even some painters, the first places they show their things were pubs, restaurants. So maybe it's somewhere where game designers and game producers should start. Maybe they should go to pubs and bars and ask if they could display their games there.
Yeah, find the space.
So
we did actually put it in someone's bar. No one will oppose having an arcade machine in their bar.
Yeah, we did it. We built a cat. Like we had a bunch of games, and we wanted to show games to people. So we built an arcade cabinet, like without a real arcade cabinet. We wrapped it with artists and stuff, and then we just put it in bars. And that was the best way we could find to make new people to play the game. Just like lots of games in bar, and people will play because that's you got an arcade cabinet. That's your dream. Just connect and go making stuff.
It's also a good thing because in this example, you're showcasing stuff that most people who go into a bar and are not in whatever will recognize because we were also an arcade cabinet and we'll play like an arcade game, but showing those weirder games in this just recognize form is a great way to expand because it's something I think most art games
all the time.
being seen is too difficult to approach from other people, or they're not actually. Like, I think it's easier to play an art game most of the time than to just say, hey, I'm gonna show you how Dark Souls work and it's gonna take 15 minutes to explain you how to just dodge and attack. With most art games, to just explain the concept in 3 minutes, and so I think it's an interesting thing to kind of push those games into a very approachable way, as more as possible, while still letting them be as weird as it can be.
But I also like to talk about, because I mean now it's kind of an open discussion. I have nothing else to say. I mean, so you can also switch to the word. Thank you. Happy question time. Yeah, this is important. This is important. Next date, but you will know.
Silly and practical
Thank you.
Question is all game creators can send you stuff for your festival, or even like artists or anyone who wants to participate.
Yeah, they definitely should send.
So how does it work? Like practically.
I mean, if somebody wants to show their game, I mean it's.
Games or artists, you know, musician or whatever. How do you curate this content?
Usually I just approach them.
Okay.
I ask them. Okay. And as well speakers, we have no open call or something like that. Okay. We check what is going on at the moment, and but definitely everybody can send me an email, Thorsten at festival.net, and I will answer. And if somebody has an idea of whatever, we don't do panels, so this is something what we don't do. It's boring. Yeah, it's a waste of time. But we definitely do talks, and we do workshops, and some crazy performances, and there's always some space we can find as well when